Dude, they do such a bad job picking names that are at all memorable.
Or that they even say more than one time ever, maybe. Like, I don't know that they ever said his name loudly.
They said it like 2 times on the bridge.
They can't be bothered to tell you who the character's name is. How are you supposed to be?
They told us, but I'm just
Did
trying
they?
to.
Because neither of us can remember, and we watched every single episode. To know a character's name, I have to go to a wiki. Your show is bad. It's your fault, not mine.
Zara.
So memorable. How could you have forgotten? What a name.
Yeah. My dog's here for episode 30 of Subspace Transmissions. I should turn that echo effect that we had an impossible time turning off back on.
Oh yeah, that won't be a problem.
It won't be,
That
won't be a
cause any
disaster
issues.
immediately.
Won't cause everything to spontaneously catch on fire.
Well, we'll see how this goes now that everything broke. I don't know why I ever bothered changing anything with my computer.
I mean, that's really the issue, right? Like, the reason why people can get things to work the same way over and over is they do literally nothing else in between.
Yeah. Well, even then, sometimes Windows thinks, oh, well, I should just change how this works. Or a game will update. Like, I have all my settings set in... we play Warzone a good amount. And so, I have things set the way I want so that every time I get in there, my reticle moves the same, my character moves the same, That's part of the practice, right? Getting used to your settings. But every update, they seem to like reset one little setting somewhere. And then you have to go find it because halfway through a game, you'll be like, uh-oh, this doesn't work. Why doesn't this button work? Oh, because they reset it to a different thing. Like, oh, come on. Come on. Well, that's enough complaining about that. We can
Let's
talk more.
complain about Star Trek instead.
I was going to say, let's be positive. This was okay.
Yeah, okay. There's some stuff I didn't hate.
It was really weak, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I guess, spoilers, we're going to talk about the final 2 episodes of season 3 of Discovery.
Yep.
The episodes There Is a Tide and That Hope Is You Part 2.
Finally, That Hope Is You Part 2 shows up, huh?
Yeah. I don't like the idea of bookending a season with that. I think that's dumb. That episode had nothing to do with the first episode.
It's because the other guy whose name I can't remember showed up again.
For 2 seconds.
For 2 seconds, he's like, oh, I'm here. And you're like, how are you here? You were so far away that apparently we couldn't get to you before, but now we can. So great.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of it. I stopped taking notes in the middle of the second episode.
My notes are really bad all throughout just because there 2 things. I mean, there's not a lot of notes to take when all people are doing is running around shooting and punching each other.
Yeah.
So
or
I don't have to write
or
any
not
notes
doing anything actually with most of the cast.
Yep. Or dying of loss of air in a hallway for half an episode.
30 minutes. Literally in the script it says, yeah, like 30 minutes. And you're like, oh, great. Great. I appreciate that you used a real amount of time, but I also don't appreciate what this means, where we're going to wait 30 minutes before they do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Look, let's talk about episode 12. Let's just start with it. Don't start. If you're confident in your storytelling, you shouldn't have to do a previously on that reminds you of characters from the same season. But this one opens with reintroducing us to. It sounds like I know his name because we spent 20 minutes looking for it before the podcast. But Zara, the bad guy played by Jake Weber, who I remember watching in U571 and Amistad and what's the other movie I remember him in? Dawn of the Dead, I think. He's not an unknown actor.
I've seen some of those.
He was in and the other thing that I remember a lot was he was in Hell on Wheels for like 20 episodes or something like that, playing.
Okay, well, I didn't see that, so
yeah, he played like an army officer in that, and a politician, I think. So he was in that one for a while. So not an unknown actor. So people that recognize actors know when you're tricking them. And in episode 2 of this show, you were like, "Oh, this guy's gonna die on the ice," and I said, "Well, why would you hire him then?"
And I said, who cares? They do stupid things on this show all the time.
Oh, come on! This is the downfall of filmmaking, right?
It was obvious they were doing a thing, right?
I mean, it's obvious to anybody with a pulse that they were doing a thing, and you didn't even need to know the actor, right? Like,
right,
when they don't show somebody or clearly state
death.
that they're dead off screen, you know. This show loves CGI so much that if he had died to the ice, they would have shown it because they would have wanted to CGI it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that, but you're totally right.
Jeez. Oh, man.
That's a big bummer because, like, yeah, you're totally right. They would have wanted to show, like, a gruesome CGI ice death.
Yeah, where he got all stuck in the ice or whatever.
Yeah, so they could do a cool CGI
Instead, we got him showing back up with a dead hand. Ooh, that they couldn't fix with science.
Because
Osira trusts him so much and keeps him as her right-hand man, but didn't fix his hand in the months between episodes.
That's like maybe the only believable thing about him being there. Is that she didn't help him fix his hand.
Oh, you think so? Because she's just like that? Oh, that's your punishment?
Yeah, this is to keep you, just so you remember, you know?
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing she would do. The problem is that he's there at all, and she didn't just leave him on the ice to die. That's the part what she would have done.
All right, well, let's actually get into the episode, I guess.
Okay, I mean...
So it opens up and everybody and their mother can tell there's a subterfuge as her ship fires on the Discovery, which they took over at the end of the slate of decent episodes that we watched. Osira's on the bridge. And the first thing we talk about is very conspicuously, we can't delete this weird Earth movie from that one Star Trek short that tells us that it's the sphere data and the basically AI that is developed on the ship. And Osira's like, whatever, no big deal.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we have established in the past, and we have re-established that the sphere data will not allow itself to be deleted.
Right.
Okay. Very clear point I want to make here. The sphere data cannot be deleted. Okay, remember that for later.
Okay. I think I know what you're going to say, and they already have an out, so don't worry. The bigger thing is, let's talk about our dumb plan to crash our ship into the back of Discovery.
I hate the courier network thing. What is this about? I don't like it. I don't like this thing that they've created. First of all, we've got warp. Then we've got transwarp. Okay. We've got a spore drive through the mycelial network created by this show. And now we've created the courier network, which is also basically subwarp, or
I thought it was transwarp.
Warp in subspace. Is it using transwarp? Is that what's happening?
I thought that was. I didn't. So to be fair, I have no idea because I didn't go back and relearn anything about this. But I thought when they first introduced it, they said like, "Oh yeah, everyone used to use transwarp all the time," and then it got really dangerous. So now only the couriers use it, and it's the courier.
Yeah,
network.
Is that okay? That's the
what
deal.
I thought.
Is that okay? You're probably right. I was trying to remember. So somehow they get into transwarp, but they can't catch up to the other ship before they have to crash into the back of it.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And thankfully, his ship is magical and can do anything needed with its plot armor ability to make shapes. So that it can make itself into a crash shape so that it can crash well.
I went from loving the fact that it was a gigantic flat spaceship that looked so nondescript.
I mean, I was okay with the look of the ship initially, right? It's like, oh, like it's like a weird flat ship. Okay, that's like an interesting
and
look for a
then 2
ship.
episodes ago, we find out it can just do whatever it wants.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Then we meet Aurelio in the spore cube.
Yeah, he's
Osira's like genius scientist kind of guy,
whose
similar
job is
to Stamets.
torture Stamets and get the, or well, I guess she doesn't tell him to torture him, but his job is to make the spore drive work, right?
Yeah. So I want to take a pause here and say, see if you knew who this was.
This guy,
The guy in the wheelchair. Yeah.
he looked extremely familiar.
Yep.
No, I didn't recognize the actor. And
This is one of those things that we should acknowledge because Star Trek is good. His name's Ken Mitchell, and he played General Cole and a couple other Klingons from Discovery.
Oh, you mean like in the earlier?
Yeah, in the
seasons?
first season of Discovery, he played a couple people. General Cole got written quickly out of the show because Kenneth. What did I say his name was? I had it
Mitchell?
up. Mitchell has ALS.
Oh, okay. So this actually is him.
Yeah. So this is him, sans makeup and everything else, after kind of stabilizing. I mean, ALS is a progressively worse disease.
Right. It's a degenerative
It's
disease.
degenerative, yes. And so
You don't get better, really.
you don't get better, but you, at least once they know people have it, they can kind of stabilize their degeneration a little bit. And so once he was feeling back up to it, they wrote this role just for him
to
get back onto the show.
This is good, and actually, I will say, what's the character's name again? Again, the show being bad about naming the characters.
I had to go back and re-listen to it 3 times. Aurelio.
I actually like some of the stuff that Aurelio brings to this episode and the next one.
Yes. Very bright spot for me of a character that, yeah, I mean, they developed. Look, they looked at it and they developed it.
Yeah.
Yes. They
Because
gave him a
he's there.
backstory. They gave him a motivation. They gave him everything that some characters
he also
miss.
makes the villain character Osira more interesting because she now has stuff to do and be, and she has to act a certain way in front of him.
Right.
It's a better show because of this character.
This character should have been in this from the minute the season started.
It would have been so much better.
You would have
if she had always had this, like if Osira's thing is that she has to be nice while this guy's around.
Yeah,
right?
it would have been way
thing.
fun to watch all season because then it breaks down in the last episode, and if you had watched that all season, you'd be like, "Oh, she's finally gonna crack," and that,
or like do the thing where they introduce him with her at the beginning and how she's so nice and and beneficent and doing all this science work, and then they go visit the slave colony, and then they come back and he's there and he's like, "What do you mean she's such a nice person?" It's like, slaves, yo, and he's like, "She wouldn't do that," and then like the guy's like, "I was there." And then that would have, wow, what a good show.
Wow, what a good show we just wrote in 3 minutes.
Yeah, I know. But it's hard to know, like, how did all this stuff come together? Was this guy?
Yeah, he might not have been available. First of all, we don't know if he was available.
Yeah, exactly.
Or not.
Because it takes months to shoot all this stuff, right? So
it does, and I don't, with ALS, there's a really good documentary out there about Steve Gleason. I want to shout it out. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I'll look it up right now. But there's a really good documentary out there about Steve Gleason, who used to play for the Saints. And he is living with ALS right now. and he created a charity about it. It's just called Gleason. That's why I couldn't remember the name of it.
Okay.
It's on Amazon Prime, and everyone should everyone should watch it. It gives you a really deep window into how hard it is just to mentally cope with it. So I would not be surprised. It could take take a lot out of somebody to film a whole season of a show with ALS. I would imagine it almost probably too much.
Sure. I can't imagine that it's easy just dealing with the change.
Yeah.
From being a, whatever your life was before to having to live with this degenerative disease. I'm sure it's not easy already. And then having to deal with by the way, shooting starts at 6, please be on the set. And all this other stuff.
And everyone, and when you're on a set, everyone depends on everyone to do their job.
Yeah.
Right.
It's oh, by the way, are you having an issue today, medically or whatever? Now everyone's job day is ruined because you can't shoot. Right.
Right. And of course, it sounds like this is more of a family in that sense. And I think they would work around it.
Of course, I'm not saying that, but then you feel bad for letting everyone else down,
right? You feel bad, and obviously you can't do that for a whole season of a show. So I wonder how much. I think he'll end up being a Reno style character where we don't see him every episode, right? If he's in the next season at all.
Yeah, because there's the chance we don't ever see him again, right? That based on how this ends up, maybe we don't, right?
It's likely that they would have to quickly remove him. I like that he's there. I'm glad they did it.
I enjoyed him. I like
1,000% believe that they spent the time to develop a character that deserves as much airtime as they can give it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get back on track.
So
the Admiral's not too dumb.
No.
I mean, he opened the thing in a panic because he had to make a decision, but immediately upon seeing what was happening, he's like, no, so Osiris on that ship.
he's like, everyone get arm the torpedoes.
Yeah. So he ain't no dummy. And later on in the negotiation too, the twist at the end of the negotiation was pretty good.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
It was good because it was the proof that she's serious, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, it was I thought that it was clear she was serious up to the point where she faced any consequences, right? If the Admiral had just signed off on everything at the end, I could have believed that maybe she would have gone through with it.
Yeah.
But I would have been pretty pissed at the Admiral for not coming back and asking hey, you've done a lot of bad stuff here. Why don't we do some justice over here and
woman up, so to speak, right?
Yeah. Face the music here a little bit.
But that's
she's
later.
Obviously unwilling to that.
Yeah, that's later. Look, we called it. We called it episode 1, man. We called it episode 1. Transport jammer.
Oh yeah.
Look at all these little personal transporters everyone's got. That won't possibly be a problem later. We'll have to create some sort of tech.
Why invent them? Just to get rid of them.
The tech.
It solves problems by not having them. It creates problems by having them.
Yep.
Don't have them.
Yep. We're in the future, JJ. We have to have future technology, even though we can't fix people's hands.
Just do the thing that they've done in 100 other sci-fi things and just have doors that go places. And just an open door, and it just on the other side of the door is a place, and you can just go through it.
I love it.
A little portal-looking door, so you don't have to deal with filming two sides of a scene or whatever.
I love it.
There you go.
I love that they had to make a plot.
They just have doors set up all over the place, and they run through the doors. There you go.
They literally had to make plot moments in this episode to be like, oh no, the transport's down. We can't do the transporting. Oh, we can't transport there. It's I hate this. I hate every second of this.
It was so silly, the whole thing.
Oh man. Okay.
I did like the part where they were tapping to distract the guards.
Oh, that was pretty good. And
at the end, he's like, "What were you telling him?" He's like, "Keep tapping." I I enjoyed that little moment.
Yeah, Book not knowing Morse code was pretty funny. Because he's not human, right? So he's
Like why would you
Quajon,
expect,
so he wouldn't know what Morse code is. And so I like that there was no plan other than to annoy them until they figured out that they,
it's like they think they're telling us like, okay, on 6 or like, do this move or whatever. Nope, it's just like just keep tapping to piss off.
Yeah. So Michael gets stabbed after escaping with the thing that hides her from the sensors and crawls around for the whole episode, doing fighting while crawling around.
I wrote in my notes, is this Die Hard?
She lost her shoes. I thought about that when she lost her shoes. I was like, if she walks on broken glass, I'm just going to turn this off.
Maybe I would turn it on. Maybe I'd be more interested in this show if they just decided to become Die Hard.
So this was like, they tried to make a lot of references. I think that was a Die Hard reference, right? Like there's injured.
No chance. There's no chance they did that on accident.
No, she's injured. She limps around like John McClane. She puts on the boots. She puts on the boots. Yep, she does all the things.
And then she loses the boots, just like John McClane. There's no way that entire thing wasn't some kind of Die Hard reference. It was definitely a Die Hard reference, because later on they reference Star Trek 2, where she tells the weird story that only one person would understand. Like when he talks in code over the loudspeaker that everybody can hear, she talks in code to Tilly. Although the code this time was like, I don't understand. Why do you need to go to the nacelles? Like, what does fireworks on your birthday have to do with that? Yeah, I didn't pick up that was a reference to Star Trek 2, but you're totally right.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. So meanwhile, while the bridge crew begins to run around,
the oxygen purge.
Oh no! So no, we have to do the Osira. While the bridge crew's talking about escaping and all that, and Michael's running around the ship, Osira goes. We should clearly say goes to try to negotiate, quote unquote, with the Federation, and drops the bomb that she thinks that the Emerald Chain and the Federation should become one entity. And the entire time they were in that meeting room, I wanted to claw my ears off because her accent changes every 3 seconds. Pick something. Stick with it. Don't be British 1 minute and American the next and whatever the else. There was at least 4 in there. Yeah, so they negotiate for a while. She presents a armistice treaty. She says that she will remove slavery from the colonies. She's already convinced the Senate or whatever Osira is in charge of.
I sort of thought she was like a warlord. I didn't really know there was like a Senate or whatever.
It was very clearly stated that she was like a warlord earlier on in this show. And then all of a sudden there's like a government.
It feels like there's a retcon there.
It might have been. Whatever. It's a light retcon if it is.
Yeah. Gotta have bureaucracy somewhere, I guess.
So Osira continues to negotiate all that stuff while Michael frees Stamets.
And the regulators.
And she definitely
they gotta fight the regulators.
Shoots all the regulators who are Zara's buddies.
Yes.
We get to finally see a Vulcan nerve pinch. Have we seen one ever in this show?
I actually noted that in my notes. I was like, I couldn't remember if it's the first one. I think maybe
Spock probably did one, right?
Yeah, but it's certainly the first one this season, and it's been quite a while since the last one. Because I think the only other time maybe was when they were escaping from Vulcan with Spock.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But yeah, we haven't seen a Vulcan nerve pinch in a super long time.
Spock used to use them all the freaking time. Like literally episodes. I
was going to say in the original series, I think it was like every episode or close. Anytime they fought someone, everyone is doing like hitting people or whatever, and Spock walks over and nerve pinches a guy.
And I think next comes my second favorite part of these 2 episodes. My first is them creating the Aurelio character and almost nailing it.
Yeah, it was very good.
My second is this moment where she airlocks Stamets.
It was a good scene.
It's 1,000% a good scene, and it's a moment that is believable, right? She always does what she thinks is best. She always does it. And so, like, the moment where she does that, she finally, you can see the captaincy, coming, right? Like, if she's able to airlock her friend to protect the entirety of the Federation and potentially kill their captain, her, and Stamets's ostensible quote-unquote child, as he is seeing Adira now, and Hugh, if she's willing to kill them off, right?
Right, to protect this this thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty
good moment. And Stamets acted his butt off on that one.
I have nothing bad to say about anything in this scene. It was great.
Yeah.
I think the things that I have bad to say follow later.
Oh, you mean the only remaining note I have, which is about the robots?
I put in big caps, F word, S word robots.
Yeah.
I
wrote down
like these
robots. These stupid robots that only show up. These stupid robots that only show up when needed can suck S in my notes.
Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. Stupid is not the word I wrote. Fun is also not the word I wrote.
Yeah.
I hate the robots, Andrew. I hate them. I do not like green eggs and ham.
I know.
I do not like them, Sam. I do not like them on a show. I do not want them here. Now go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want the dumb robots. Please don't put them in my show. They look out of place.
They're horrible.
They act silly and cause everyone to do silly things that make no sense. And they just look bad. It looks like it's like some batteries not included thing in my Star Trek show in the future. This looks like it's from the 80s. What the heck?
It looked like they tried to copy Wall-E. The
cut
Eve,
rate Johnny 5.
It looked like they tried to copy Eve from Wall-E, and they got it wrong. It's terrible.
Awful.
They only show up. They only show up to be CGI filler in scenes when ostensibly they're needed. But if you actually think about it, they're not needed at all, except for one tiny little thing with OO.
If you're gonna CGI something, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the scenes in the past when they've shown up, it has been little robots like doing work, repairing the ship or whatever, right?
Yeah, but they're never there any other time.
Do you know how you do that? You know how you do that without the little robots? CGI humans in space.
Put humans out there. But like, no other Star Trek show has needed these robots. I mean, maybe their argument is they just never showed them. How is the ship fixing itself without all these robots? There's so much damage.
People.
Yeah,
there are people on it, man.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, you remember like Star Trek 2? That ship was wrecked, right?
Yeah.
That they didn't fix that much of it.
Ship up real good.
They didn't fix that much of it. But if these little robots had been there, they would have fixed all of it. That's what happened. You know what I mean? Like,
if
I don't get it. I just don't.
If these robots ever show up in Strange New Worlds, I will turn the show off.
Oh, buddy, I have a bad feeling.
Okay, guess I'll turn the show off.
Because they showed up on the Enterprise already in Discovery. That's where we saw them first. They looked different. They were called .7s. I don't know what these ones are called.
I mean, I call them bad.
I call them terrible because literally they show up here to get blown up. And here's where what did I tell you to remember earlier?
Well, something about the sphere data.
Yeah, it can't be deleted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. So Tilly says, "Are you the sphere data?" And it says, hello, greetings. Yeah. And all the robots are the sphere data. Mm-hmm. And then she says, "Oh, it downloaded to protect itself." I got to turn my microphone down here. Protect itself from what?
Them deleting it, I guess.
How? How? Because it said in this episode and before that they can't delete it.
But they deleted a lot of it, see. There's only the movie left, Andrew. Because the rest of it downloaded into the robots.
Oh my god.
See, circular logic is great because you can never prove it wrong. You just circle back to the next thing.
You know,
and then you go back around.
If the sphere data was just in the computer still, you could just use that Rin guy who was already in the computer to tell the sphere data to decouple the nacelle.
But then you don't have a fun scene of everyone choking to death for 30 minutes and then Owo having to heroically run while she's out of breath and put a bomb on a shelf.
So Owo is now the most developed bridge character. I would say even more developed than Tilly. Because they try to develop Tilly through Killy, right? And Tilly's the opposite of all this. I don't really care. Owo, I now know more about than I know about Tilly. Tilly doesn't get along with her parents and she wants to be an officer. Owo, I know, grew up, in Africa. She can hold her breath forever. She can, I know a lot about her.
Abalone. She said she did
abalone diving. Yeah.
There you go. I learned something.
Yep. She can hold her breath for 10 minutes.
Which is like a really long time.
That's astronaut level. Like,
it's really, really long.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my point here
get it.
Is
I just don't.
And okay, so here's the thing, right? All of this, they had to have this scene where Owo takes this bomb and goes to put it.
They don't go
on the thing.
To do that till next time, right? Or do they do that here?
No, this happens next time. But whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's talk about it. We're here. Her placing the bomb at the end is literally just putting it on a shelf.
Yep.
Not even like they had this cool room, all these like exciting things. You're like, oh man, this bomb is gonna be cool. Nope, she just sets it on a shelf.
Yeah, why wouldn't you have to open some sort of like gantry passageway thing and stuff it inside of where the coils are?
You put it on the bomb-shaped shelf on the wall. That's where it needed to go.
It's like a bad roleplay group where it's like, you find the keyhole. Do you have the key? It's like, thanks for describing it.
The key is shaped like this hole. Mm-hmm. There's one right there. You could use it if you want.
It's literally the DM's like, in your inventory, you might have something that shapes like a cog. The lock looks like a cog. It's like, oh my god, you didn't even make him roll for it.
Yeah, wow, it's just there. Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, so the robots are the end of that first episode.
Yeah, the robots show up and they're like, "We're the robots," and then they blow up at the beginning of the next one. Ugh. Mm-hmm. 3 good moments, and the rest of it is pure trash.
Yep.
So the end of this is Osira gets pissed because the Admiral says, "Okay, we accept the ceasefire on one condition." You appoint a independent person that will not report to you, and you stand trial for your crimes.
Right.
If you truly want to move forward, if you want everyone to move forward, we'll make sure that, your justice is done and that you're comfortable after. But if you want everyone to move forward, you need to be out of the picture.
Yeah. And I actually was really happy the Admiral did that, right? Because I feel like earlier in this season, the Admiral would have just taken the ceasefire and said, great.
I think you're right.
And instead, now that Michael or the Discovery crew or whatever had been around to inspire him to be like real Starfleet, he's asking the real Starfleet thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a great moment. I thought it was well written. I thought they thought that one through and that they developed this Admiral into he even says to Michael in the final episode that she has pushed him into being a better Admiral. Yeah.
And of course, she's not into that and storms out. Because, of course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Let's talk about the last one. I'm sorry we're doing this, Andrew.
Grudge is a queen.
Yeah.
You're leading us through this one because I don't know if I
How
can
do you
do it.
feel about the Stamets erasure that happens in this episode?
I don't know how I feel about cameras spinning every 3 minutes. I don't know if I'm gonna get even into the story of this. I don't know how I feel about camera spin.
Yeah.
I bet you. Oh man, it was directed by one of the guys I liked. That's too bad. Anyway,
sometimes you show a director a new thing and then he likes it too much
Yeah.
or she likes it too much, and then it's just like, oh no, they just really went over the board on this one.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yep. Okay. How do I feel about Stamets' erasure?
Yeah, man. How do you feel that Book basically took Stamets' job?
That's so much later in the episode. I literally didn't realize that you were going that deep
so
into
I'm
the
talking
episode.
about the beginning, right? At the beginning, Stamets runs in and is like, "You have to let me go back. I can save them. We could do it." And the Admiral's like, "No,
Nope.
dude. No, we're not doing that." And he's like,
but
And you're just
but
like,
my
"No, dude."
family. He's like, nah, I know what you're sacrificing, but you need to go on this transport. See you later.
Yeah, he's like, "Bye," and he's
Yeah.
like, "No." Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that I think is the last time we see Stamets this whole episode.
Until the end when he dirty eyeballs his new captain.
At the very end. Yeah. So, okay. So Michael is captured right after all the.
Yeah, everybody gets captured. Osira breaks through. Well, we start off. We actually start the episode off on the holograph, but I guess we can just split the episode into kind of like parts differently.
They go back and forth a lot here between the stuff happening with Sukal and Saru and Hugh and Odira and
Gray.
Get someone and Gray
Sukal
over there.
Yeah, all those four. Yeah. So apparently Gray is like kind of real, I guess. He's trapped between life and death.
That's
what they're implying here.
Right. It's very strange because the holo projectors somehow pick him up and project him as real.
Right. So we get to see Gray and Hugh and Saru and everybody get to see Gray as real, and he shows up as a Vulcan. Even though he's a Trill, which I thought was funny.
I mean, yeah. What is Odira here? I don't know what they are.
I have no idea. They just sort of painted her up.
There.
Yeah,
they just
was weird.
Painted her with like cool tribal paint and stuff, and it's like, all right, you're one of these. And it's like, wait, what is this? I don't know.
Yeah, that was weird. And then Saru says he's gonna make a Kelpian meal for Sukal, and they're gonna push Sukal to realize the things that are true because they need to have him shut down the hall.
Right, so that they can turn the thing off so that they can get out when Discovery comes back, right? Yeah.
So why on Earth and in space would you call?
They're not on Earth, so that's a good one.
Would you call your mom and be like, I'm gonna die and I'll never see you again, but maybe I'll see Dad in the afterlife wherever I'm going? And your mom sends a whole fleet for you. And then you're just like, nah, we're gonna peace because I can save this ship without any help. Even though I'm captured and my crew is captured.
Wait,
or
what
die.
are we talking about now?
So
I got confused.
Okay, so
did we change topics?
Yeah. We're back on Burnham, right? Burnham and Book are captured.
You're talking about the part where Michael is call your mom.
Right. So Michael called her mom last episode.
Why did she do that? I don't know.
Michael called her mom last episode and was like, I'm gonna die, and I'll see you and Dad in the afterlife, right? And so this episode we finally get Book, Rin, and Michael are captured on the bridge. And there's a whole fleet there, but Michael's like, nah, we're just gonna go, and you save the fleet, and I'll save the ship. And everybody's like, wait, what? But no, they just peace out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Lame. Weird.
Why?
I don't understand why we even mentioned the Navarre fleet showed up. Why?
Yeah,
mention it
exactly.
at
Why did
all?
we even do that?
There was
no point.
There was literally 0 point in any of that.
And why? Like, what motivation does Michael have here to tell them not to shoot at them?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't.
Why does she go along with what Odira says? Oh, she's going to torture Book. Yeah, that's.
I don't get
she
any
is.
of it.
Guess what? She was going to do it anyway. Yeah. There's no reason to go along. Like, it's literally just complete. And there's no way Michael doesn't know that too.
Well, she does, because clearly she makes a move, right, to free him. Rin gets blasted in the face.
Oh yeah.
And
R.I.P.
then Book gets tortured with a neural thing because he's a Quajon. It's super bad. But Aurelio finally says,
hey man, this seems bad.
Hey, you're kind of like not being cool. This is not what you should do. You should let my truth serum just work. And she chokes him out. Osira chokes him out.
Yeah.
And I think that's the end of Aurelio. We don't see him again until the end. Am I wrong?
She said the way she said it was like, you won't wake up next time.
Oh, right. But I'm just saying, like, Aurelio's done in this episode at this point.
You don't see him again, really.
But that's fine.
Till the end, sad, because I like him more than the people who left.
I wish that he had been around to, like, help out or something. That would have been cool.
Yeah. I want to point out that your prophecy comes true, because I hear them talk about transport jammers at one point here in this.
They talk about it again, yeah. Every 5 minutes, you now have to talk about transport jammers. Because why wouldn't we just transport? Oh, because transport jammers. Because we have to explain it every single time now. So dumb. Don't do this stuff. And it's the same problem with the stupid robots. If the robots are there all the time, look, I'll concede that the robots are there all the time. If you know the robots are there all the time, why don't you create an army of robots to go down to the nacelles and turn them off for you?
I mean, it certainly seems like they should have handed the robots the bomb and said, go do this. And then they all could have suffered in the corridor alone.
It would have been done in half the time, because they wouldn't have had to, like, run out of oxygen on their way there.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been worried about the mission being completed at the end. It would have been fine.
Oh, but, you know...
But that's sad. Then we wouldn't have gotten the fun story.
There's a magnetic field, though, JJ. There's a magnetic field. So this is the problem, right? The things are there. The tools are there. You can just use the tools. But why can't the robots do it? Because magnetic fields, JJ.
But then apparently it's not, because the robot can pull her out.
So how do the robots ever fix the nacelles? So what is the point of the robots if they can't go places and fix stuff?
I mean, I guess they don't fix the nacelles.
Oh my God.
We better never see them in there ever again.
Oh my God. And you know, now it makes you think back to the beginning of this entire season where they added these stupid detachable nacelles to the ship. Mm-hmm. And you're like, did they add them for this exact moment? Did they add detachable nacelles so that they could blow up the nacelle without blowing up Discovery?
I mean, there's a non-zero chance you're right, and I really hate that. And actually, like, the more I think about it, the chance is, like, kind of high, and I'm really becoming depressed.
I don't understand why writers do this. You create a problem that you then have to solve. I think
this happens because people are working backwards, right?
Sometimes.
I think that
definitely.
Because I have encountered problems like this in engineering when we start with a solution and move back, rather than starting with, like, the requirements and building up the solution from there. And I think that instead of starting at the beginning of the story and writing it out to the end, they had places they wanted to get at the end and worked backwards, right? And so that's how you get stuff like, oh, shoot, we got to throw in somewhere here so we can blow up this nacelle. What do we do? All right, in episode 2, we're going to do a thing where they talk about how we give it detachable nacelles now. That'll be a cool shot. Yeah, CGI. All right, everyone loves this. Great. And then, yeah, you end up with what we got. Dang.
But you know how
really
complicated this got just because they created these things that didn't need to exist? These robots showed up because of a CGI scene in a ship battle that was kind of dumb to begin with. In a previous season of this show. And then they had to add them everywhere.
That ship battle was dumb.
They didn't have the robot. Oh my God. They didn't have these robots the first 2 seasons of Discovery.
Mm-hmm. They put them in that one short trek, though. I'm sure people care about that, right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah. When we got to this point and the robots couldn't go into the nacelle because of the magnetic field, but the sphere data was going to risk it all to help Owo because the sphere data was in the robot now instead of in the computer where it can't be deleted. Mm-hmm. And you realize the detachable nacelle is there so they can blow it up without damaging the ship. And the robot, it's just like this layers of idiocy. Mm-hmm. I got so depressed and I just stopped caring in the middle of this. I really did.
I like that so we're talking about like Owo's little mission here, and at the beginning, Tilly proposes this as a suicide mission. And I just immediately wrote down suicide mission in quotes because no one will die. And I was correct.
Yeah. I at this point, was pretty depressed. Burnham says she doesn't believe in no-win situations and frees book, pretty easily. Like nobody was even paying attention or whatever. And then,
oh no, hold on though. We got to talk about. Wait, is that here or later?
That was a little earlier, actually.
Maybe this is later, where they talk about his body having a genetic connection to subspace.
Oh no, that's a little later.
Okay,
that's after. That's after they eject the warp core. That's during the tardigrade discussion on the bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, we still have to get to the actual confirmation, and this is literally where I stopped taking notes, that Su'Kal caused the burn by screaming. Because he's a, what do they call him? A poly what?
I don't know, some word. Because his body has the genetic connection to subspace.
Polyploid.
Yeah.
An individual with more than 2 copies of their chromosomes.
And somehow it means that because he was on this dilithium planet, he has a genetic connection to subspace. So when he yells, apparently it goes over subspace. What?
Let me give you an example of things that are polyploids. Are you ready? Plants, fish, frogs. Those are things that are polyploids.
Okay. So, I mean, Kelpians, I guess, they're kind of planty.
Yeah, sure. How does that... No frog has ever croaked at me and knocked me down.
Well, but you don't have a genetic connection to subspace, Andrew. See, that's the thing. And also grew up on a planet of dilithium somehow, which is a thing that apparently affects this in some way that they don't explain. Yeah, I really... The resolution of... So, the actual resolution of the Su'Kal stuff, I actually didn't mind that much. The fact that he is the source of the burn, I do mind because it's dumb. And
yeah, the resolution of Su'Kal is actually pretty good. It's good acting.
Some of the better part of the episode,
it's like him confronting his demon, right? And turning off the thing and watching the message from his parents. All that was palatable and would have been a good resolution. But, like... Magic Kid screams and causes everything in the galaxy to explode. Versus Kid gets really angry and smacks controls for a deflector dish and causes burn. Which one would you take if you were given the option?
What they needed to say here, right, was like, there are a lot of things they could have done instead of this, but whatever. They didn't do it, so we have to live with the fact that he somehow magically himself is the one who caused it.
Being a frog
through-
gives you the ability
Yeah.
to blow up every dilithium in the universe.
Well, no, being a frog and growing up on a planet full of dilithium, Andrew. You forgot that part. You have to do both.
I literally
You can't
stopped
just be a
taking
frog.
notes. I stopped because I knew this was coming. Obviously, you knew.
They told you
They
basically
told you
two episodes
ago. Yeah, they told you 2 episodes ago. But I was hoping there was some explanation or coming for why he could do it, other than like he's part of the planet. But
Science.
I guess is this another reach back to like Spock growing up on what's that planet called, Eden or whatever? And because he was like he grew really fast because he was on the I don't know.
Oh, are you talking about the was it
Search
Genesis
for Spock,
planet?
the Genesis planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this
I'm
like a
gonna go with
Genesis planet reference? I don't.
No, because this guy's like 125 years old.
I just don't get it. I don't get how you don't come up with a better explanation than I'm going to use the word polyploid.
I don't know. It sounds like space magic, like whatever. It's like they could have said tachyons, right? Would you have felt better about that? He was exposed to so many tachyons that it altered his body, and now he was able to communicate with Subspace on a genetic level. It's the same thing. It's that they use a different word. Does it make you feel better now? No, right? Because it's still a bad explanation.
Yeah, no, it's still bad. It's like
they used a medical term instead of a science or a astrophysics term or something. Meh. Like, it's equally magical to me, right?
I don't
in terms of space science.
Maybe I was holding hope that we would come to some sort of different conclusion, that maybe the screaming coincided with something else, or so, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it did coincide with something, but not something like science related.
Yeah,
no, it was just the screaming. Yeah.
I stopped taking notes
terrible.
here. You're gonna have to get us through the rest of this.
Well, guess what? There's not a lot. So we get a lot more of insane starship interiors back on the ship.
I hate the turbo lift interiors.
Turbo lifts that apparently there's giant hollow insides of all these ships now, which no one ever knew about.
Oh, we've talked about this before, and
no, I know we've talked about it before, but I'm just saying that it's never shown up anywhere else.
I mean, it is actively shown not to be true based on every
other
schematic of every
tubes.
starship ever.
Yeah. And like all the episodes where, our good friend Jean-Luc Picard climbs through a turbolift shaft, which is referred to as a shaft.
They just don't make any sense. It just doesn't.
No,
yes,
it makes no sense
yes,
at all.
He does crawl through a turbolift shaft, by the way. And
I know.
And they just don't like having the.
That's a good Star Trek
It's
episode.
A great Star Trek episode. But then they're on rails and they just sort of go every which way, and you're built a starship. They go in straight lines.
It's a Wonka Vader. They look like Wonka Vaders.
Yeah,
like from the Willy Wonka movies.
So
they're just flying up, down, left, right, diagonal.
It's so dumb. Sense. I just can't even hold back anymore about this.
No,
it's so
why?
dumb.
Why should you? It's stupid. And then they take there's a bunch of fighting here. There's a lot of fighting going on for the rest of the episode. Just assume in between everything I talk about, there's a bunch of fighting.
Yeah.
One of these elevators takes them to the data core, which is a room we've never seen before either. That has a bunch of tape drives, apparently.
I don't get it.
There's a fight scene in there somehow, and then Burnham pulls some tapes and plugs them back in to like reboot the ship. That was her thing.
Woohoo!
So that they're back in control now. Yay! But at a rate, yeah.
You missed how what that happens in the data core to Osira.
Oh, they shoot her?
She hides in a what? What did she hide in?
She didn't hide, right? Like it was the who knows? First off, who knows what it was? Nothing is ever explained. But it's like one of those like it looked like those things that they use for screens or touch screens in book ship that are like those like malleable control things or whatever. It looks like Osira is trying to drown Burnham in the wall, essentially.
Yeah. So Burnham goes into the wall and then shoots her way out of the wall into Osira's face.
Yes.
And that's the end of Osira.
Osira. Yeah.
Unlike you, I never quit.
Yeah.
That's the death comms from Burnham to Osira.
I know what she said.
Unlike you, I never quit.
It's just
And Book
I think sometimes
throws
the
Zara
writers
out of an
think they're
elevator and says, "She's a queen."
Yeah. I sometimes think the writers of this show think they're making a different show than they are. I wonder if they
I
realize
think
they're
we're
working
just
on Star Trek
watching a
sometimes.
different show than we think we are, because I think there are a lot of people that love this.
Do they?
Yeah, and I just don't get it anymore. I stood by this thing and was positive up until these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But man, it just keeps going. It just keeps going.
So anyway,
We got to talk about more stuff.
We got to talk about more stuff.
How the Viridians
Apparently-
sucked in the ship, by the way. We didn't even talk about that.
Look, there's nothing to talk about with that, man.
Yeah.
Whatever. Who cares? What we do need to talk about though is that apparently Book can like feel the spores or whatever and do that now.
Oh, yeah. So
we just got Stamets just like RIP his job forever, basically.
yeah, so what was the explanation? Aurelio says, "Oh, Quasians are like so empathic that I bet he doesn't even need tardigrade DNA to talk to the entire mycelial network.
Yeah, he can just like think about him.
You could just like go there and ask them." And I then had this thought, JJ.
Mm-hmm.
This is thought number 2, going back to, nacelles being the thought number 1. Number 2, didn't we at one point discover that using the spore drive was killing the mycelial network and harming every living entity inside?
So wasn't that related to a thing from the first or second season?
Hugh was in there, and then they went in there to get him, and the spores were like, "Every time you jump in here, you're killing us."
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure that that's true. If you know if it's true or not, you can defend Star Trek Discovery to us at podcast@weweregamers.com. But it seems like an empath that can connect with everything in the universe would be upset if that were true.
Yeah.
Anyway, Book,
I don't know what's going on with that. Anyway,
Book, get in the cube, man.
Yeah, but Shinji, fly the robot.
Shinji,
Get in
go
the robot.
Shinji, get in the robot, Shinji.
Book, get in the cube. But I don't want to get in the cube. Get in the cube.
Shinji.
So it's going to be some of that. I suspect coming up.
Oh,
And I don't know. Then they you get the resolution of Su'Kal after this, and
Oh yeah, so Su'Kal finally confronts his demons, literally.
and yep.
Yeah, his mom died. That was it. And then
That was it.
And then he made the burn.
Yep. He feels bad about it though, apparently. So that's like something.
Yeah. He wants to help fix everything if they get out of there alive, which, oh no, the ship is going to explode in 3, 2, prepare for transport. Wait, we're going to wait until exactly the last second, even though the transporters are instantaneous now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is what it is. All right, let's talk about the important stuff here at the end. What do you think about that new uniform?
I like it.
'Cause they got the whole bridge crew outfitted now in the new uniform.
It reminds me
the
of...
third time they've changed uniforms in this show.
Yeah, sure. Maybe. You know what? It reminds me of in a weird way, it reminds me of the Maroons.
The Maroons?
The ones from the movies. All the maroon uniforms from the...
Oh, I see. Yes.
In a weird
Okay.
way, it reminds me of those, but they also integrated the like engineering and all that stuff into it too.
So they got like a little swash of color here on the
Yeah.
shoulder. like
It's
down through the shoulder
it's
and the
weird.
upper.
It's weird though because I look at it and I'm like, oh, I kind of like that, but it also kind of looks a little fascisty.
It, I, it has a very clean look, a lot like the Admirals.
See, this is the thing that I thought about. You're right, the Admirals, but when I look at the Admirals, his looks very sharp because it's got a lot of white on it.
Yeah, because of the color, right?
Because the color is like gray and white and gray and white, and there's a lot of it.
He has a little red, I think, around the neck, maybe.
But and so his looks super sharp. But
what it is, I think it's also because all the scenes and the backgrounds he's in are like super bright white lit.
yeah, and Discovery is kind of a dark and
Like saturated. Is that the right word? I don't know.
Is his white? His is red. His is red and like has white trim all over it, right?
I think, yeah. Or gold.
And it's got like striping on it that theirs doesn't have.
Yeah. Theirs don't have any striping.
And also he's like got gray hair, so he kind of matches. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't have as much white as I was thinking, but it definitely has red and then white striping. And I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I thought it looked good on him. It's a little bit.
I think it looks. I don't like it on Burnham too much. I don't think it looks.
It's not a super flattering color on her. She looks better in blue.
Agreed. I think I liked the as she walks in, and the last scene or whatever, and all the crew is there, all in the uniforms. I liked it in the medical colors where you could see like the blue.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Look like the blue medical colors or whatever.
Yeah,
but I didn't like it on the like engineering colors or the command colors, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
We talk about the uniforms on the show, so I figure it's like that's the important stuff.
We should. I like talking about uniforms.
And like eventually, finally, Michael is going to be the captain, right? That's
so she has a nice conversation with the Admiral about like what it could mean. It's just weird that like her uniform, it looks really frumpy when she sits down. It's not.
Yeah. It's a weird look, right?
They're not good when they sit down. They look good standing. I'm looking at like the scene where she walks in, but like
she needs.
You know what I didn't notice before?
She needs the Picard maneuver, right? She has to pull. She's got to pull it.
Yeah, she's got to pull it down. Yeah. Oh man, I didn't notice this before, JJ. I have to lower my grade on these. They're not as good as the Maroons. If you look at this picture.
Well, I mean, I was going to tell you they weren't as good as the Maroons. I knew that.
Look, nothing's going to be as good as the Maroons to me. I know you like different ones better. That's fine. We've been through this. You could go back to the Subspace transmissions.
One of the earlier ones where we did this.
But you can go to the list in YouTube if you're interested in our discussion on this. Okay, I'm uploading the picture. Look, I didn't notice this before. On YouTube, there's a playlist. Go back. There's a whole episode about uniforms. It's fantastic. It's one of our most fun ones. God, I hope we can do something like that again after this episode. Look at this. It's uneven on the bottom, JJ.
Oh my God, you're right. All of them are. That's
They're
intentional.
All uneven on the bottom.
I hate this now.
I hate it now.
I hate this.
Who would do this?
Throw this uniform in the trash.
I like that. I like
all
that
of them.
Book doesn't have one. Book doesn't have one either. It's great.
Well,
and look at they're all wearing tennis shoes. They're tennis shoes with boot tops strapped to them.
Bats. Okay, so you know what this is though? This is they don't have a budget to make them boots, and so this is how they did this.
No, this is we want everybody to be comfortable.
Yeah, we're not showing you the this is on someone took a still, right? And this was a 1 second scene, and you're not supposed to notice.
Sure, you're not supposed to. I wonder if next season they'll have updated some of this stuff, but like, oh man, Detmer looks so bad in this because her headpiece matches the gray.
Oh yeah, wow. Yeah, that looks real bad.
I don't want this to sound bad, but Book looks the best, obviously.
Because he's not wearing the uniform.
He's not wearing the uniform. Look at his face. He hates this uniform. Look at him. He's like, he looks stupid.
He's like, really? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I
This
think
sucks. The more I stare at it, it sucks more.
as I said, I think it only looks good in the blue color, which from the screenshot you posted, you can only see Odira here with the blue.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the yellow color looks terrible on every single person.
Yeah, why are they all...
And the red color doesn't look good either.
Does this mean Tilly is XO now, for real?
I mean, this is what this implies. But you would think that more people would have this red color because well, I guess not all the bridge people have to be red, right? A lot of them are yellow. That tracks with what happens in the next generation.
Yeah.
So
Stamets looks pissed still in this photograph.
well, I mean, he wasn't too happy even by the end of the episode, so I think that tracks. Him looking pissed tracks with how that resolves. So
we're gonna have a conversation beginning of next season about, Captain's got to do what she's got to do, buddy. You may not like the decision, but it was the right one.
Yeah,
it was really the only one.
Look, I can't blame her, but we have one more discussion to have before the end, Andrew.
Let's fly.
Let's fly.
Let's fly to get some signature gelato, apparently. Literally a quote in this show after saying, "Unlike you, I don't give up. She's a queen," after throwing someone out of the elevator. We're going to get thanked with signature gelato. I like that. You know what? Since we're talking about food, I really, really liked that when Osira...
When did they talk about signature gelato?
Oh, at the very end of this, they're talking about how they need to go escort the dilithium mining ship all the way.
Oh,
and then they said that a starbase was going to thank them with signature gelato.
Yeah.
I loved that when Osira and the Admiral were talking that he's like, we're eating our own poop, right?
Yeah. That scene actually made me laugh actually out loud.
Yeah, and she's like, they don't taste as good as the real thing. Yeah, it's because it's poop.
It's recycled excrement. They do their best, but like it really doesn't taste as good.
And then she's like,
she just like spits the apple.
She spits it out, and he's like, well, it is the most ethical way to make food.
It's like, yeah, it's not as good tasting, but it is ethical. And then she just like looks at him. Oh,
it's pretty
great
good.
Part of that scene.
It's pretty good. All right, let's fly.
Let's fly. How do we feel?
I don't know. They don't have a warp core. How can they go anywhere?
You assumed that the little robots fixed it. There you go. See?
Jeez. They didn't use the spore drive, so how have they not moved the entirety of the Federation to that nebula to protect that planet? That's what I want to know. Shouldn't the entire fleet be saying, let's fly?
I mean, you would think... they're sending a mining ship there like day 2, so they're at least on top of it, right?
Sure. Yeah. Let's fly is not terrible. She's not going to say it every time, though. So what is she going to say when they need to warp in the middle of an emergency?
Fly, you fools.
Fly, you fools. Warp 5, you fools.
I don't know, man.
I
get it.
I don't know. I was so done before some of this stuff at the end here. Saru left. We didn't even mention Saru left for Kaminar.
Saru and Sukal are taking time off to go be
buddies on Kaminar.
Or whatever. We just got to show them how it is. Like I get it.
I think that it's good that the show acknowledges that Saru doesn't give a rat anymore about the ship, and so they need to put him on Kaminar. Right,
the way they made it sound was it was temporary, though. Like, he didn't say that he was never coming back.
I think, though, that the implication here is, like, the Admiral's like, yeah, but if he does, I need a captain, right? And, like, Saru was all right, but he was not a great captain.
Yeah. I mean, look, they needed to open the chair for Michael, right?
Yeah.
It does have the effect, though, of removing all the aliens from the show.
Oh no, man! Look at the picture I sent you. There's one alien on the cropped out edge of the frame. And Book's an alien technically.
Hold on, where is the alien
He's
here?
got his little eyeballs there on the far right. Little green man there.
You send me a different picture?
To the right of Detmer in the uniform picture that I sent you.
Oh, this picture scrolls. I wasn't scrolling.
Oh,
Okay. You're right.
yeah.
There's an alien man.
There's one alien man.
Okay. We're okay.
And Book's
Star Trek can proceed. It has one alien.
Book's an alien.
Yeah. Not wrong. I mean, he's as much of an alien as some of the people, Kira in DS9 is an alien too, but also like
Yeah,
not.
she's got
right?
little ridges on her nose. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you know what? Book counts then, right? I shouldn't be,
Yeah.
by Star Trek standards, book counts. So,
Uh-huh. I wonder if we're going to see a Klingon next season.
they got in.
They said that Navarre and Trill are trying to rejoin, so wouldn't they then be like, "Hey, Klingon"? Although
Kronos. Or did it blow up?
I don't know. Such a weird timeline
Maybe they don't want to show the Klingon thing because that's
it's
where
so jacked up that they don't want to know. They don't want to.
Section 34 or whatever Michelle Yeoh's show is going to be.
Yeah.
And they don't want to know. what
Honestly,
happens to
they've
that
jacked
show.
with the timeline so much. I would not be surprised if they never show well, no, they showed the Romulans. They definitely kept that.
They showed 'em.
They kept that. So they'll try and parse through what happened with the Klingons. I wonder what they'll look like.
Well, I just more meant that the Michelle Yeoh show hasn't shot yet, so they
Yeah.
don't know how it's going to resolve. So they can't write it into this, which takes place in the future of that. Right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Unless her thing is going to be time traveling, in which case, then who cares?
I don't think so because that's illegal. Then you
She
got
has
to
Carl or whatever.
look, man. You don't want to get back into Enterprise and like the end of that, how all the Time War and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly don't want to, but it seems like these writers want to create problems for themselves. So here you go.
I just have never seen somebody write so many problems for themselves. And George Martin. George Martin is not the super. I mean, he's very, very good, but like people act as if he's like going to be the only writer that has ever written anything of importance or whatever.
I mean, I think there are a lot of extremely legitimate criticisms of the last two books.
Boom!
In Game of
There it
Thrones.
is.
There's the first three books are maybe some of the best fantasy literature
And you know
ever
what's
written.
great about those first three
And
books?
every book after those books is like a meandering mess.
You know what's great about those three books? I don't think he knew at that point who wins. And so no one has plot armor. He doesn't have to create anything to keep people alive. But
Yeah.
God forbid somebody on the bridge crew die. We got to create 7 different things that we then have to interior to this show retcon because we had to save this person from a problem we created 2 episodes ago. But if we save them again with that thing, then this problem, it's just like you've pretzeled yourself 8 times over and you're now living inside of a knot that you'd need Maniac McGee to untie.
Yeah. It's a problem. I don't know what they're filming a season 4. I think they've already said, or they're going to start.
This was season 4. So there's still no, this was season 3. Sorry.
Season 3.
Season 3.
So there will be a season 4 for this.
They're already
said.
filming. Yes.
Yeah. So, we'll see what that's like.
Yeah. Well, this is a big pause now. There's no shows until August. I think is when.
So I think the original plan would have been for.
Oh, definitely for right now for there to be a show.
For there to be a show right now, but COVID obviously screwed everything up for everyone everywhere
because they didn't want what's going to happen where I suspend my Paramount Plus for a couple months.
I mean, you get a good 6 months here of no Paramount Plus, right? Like,
yeah, it's at least like $30.
Yeah, I can't blame you.
I mean, I have everything else. I have all the movies. I have all the other shows. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason I need to stay subscribed to this.
Yep.
Even for this
you know,
podcast, I don't need to.
and like, even, man, because like, what if now they were starting another season of Lower Decks? I'd be psyched.
Oh, after watching this, I'd be like, oh, thank God Lower Decks is back, because my God, what a
I'd be
disaster. I've been really kind to this show in a lot of places that we shouldn't.
I think I was, after season 1, I was like, this is kind of weird. And then season 2 had like some real ups and downs. And I liked several parts of season 2 quite a bit.
Yeah.
And some of it a lot less.
Yeah.
And then this season was a lot of more up and down, but more downs than up, I think. And it ended on a really bad note. And I think it is souring the taste of the parts that I did like because it ended in such a terrible way.
What a mess. I wish we could be more positive. I've always tried to be positive.
I don't like watching this show and then dumping on it, because what I would do normally is I would just watch this and go like, man, and then just turn this off and go do something else, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel bad coming on here and just talking like a bunch of mess about the show, but like I don't have a lot of positive things to say about it. Like I have things I wish that they had done instead, but I can't say they didn't do that, right? We got to talk about the thing that it is.
Yeah, we have to talk about the thing that it was, and I mean, I would love to talk to these people, because like in the first 3 minutes of us talking this episode, we were like, well, what if you hadn't done this, and this? All of these problems would have gone away. And like 5 minutes into the first episode, oh my God, personal transporters are going to be a big problem.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, you spend 2 episodes and forever from now on in this show, spend time every single time saying, I can't transport. Ugh. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to keep dumping on it. I still, as a whole, enjoyed a lot this season. The episodes with Michelle Yeoh's character were fantastic.
Agreed.
I mean, they're just so hit and miss this season. So hit and miss.
Like I said, it really is unfortunate that the end was such a downer, because I think it casts like a bad shadow on the rest of the parts of the season we did like, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, you can't separate it from what it is. We just have to. We're here. We can't. We wish we were somewhere else, but we can't be, unfortunately.
I think what we should do then is talk about the future of this pod for a little bit until Lower Decks is back. Just for a minute, I think maybe to get this bad taste out of our mouth, we should go back to doing an episode just one time or so, and then we can do some off-brand stuff, like picking a best whatevers 1 or 2 times, and then by then it'll be August. But maybe some DS9 would get us back in the mood for some Trek.
Love some DS9, man.
All right, we'll keep the episode a surprise. We'll tweet it out a little bit beforehand so people can watch it.
Oh, good idea. Good idea.
But we'll pick it, and then we'll tweet it out. And until then, I think that does it, because I can't think about this anymore.
Well, if people want to contact us about it and talk and find some defense here, you can send that to podcast@weweregamers.com. That's our email address, and we will certainly read and perhaps talk about your opinion.
I would love to. I would, if someone has. I think that when people say stuff that is negative, very often no one changes their mind about anything. This is something we do for fun. This is people's entertainment, and you should not form opinions without hearing from other people, right? Like, if someone has defense for this type of stuff that we missed, go for it, and we'll debate it. That sounds great. Because I like Star Trek. I want to enjoy it.
Yeah, I wonder, like, is this their attempt to get people that don't like Star Trek to watch Star Trek by making it not like Star Trek?
I just don't. I mean, it wouldn't grab anybody that I know of that doesn't watch Star Trek. They'd be like, "Oh, this is Star Trek." You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like,
they already know. Anyway, Anyway.
All right. So that you can do that. You can find this podcast wherever fine podcasts are distributed, and we're on social media at We Were Gamers on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and everything else. Please follow us on all those places. Yeah.
Man, until next time.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
What an ending.
I
Oh, that
think-
one worked.
What's that?
That one works.
Okay, hold on. I think I fixed the other ones while we were talking. Let's see.
It's actually, I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
Okay. I heard that's amazing.
You only heard that's amazing? That's the only thing that came through?
No, I heard the whole thing.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just, it's like, it's.
Is it
I think
garbled?
maybe no. Wait, hit it again.
It's actually, I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
No, I hear the whole thing. Does he start with like a little or something in his mouth? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
But he
Then,
says
yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm not even mad."
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I'm not even mad. That's amazing. I hear that.
I use that as my death comms in because when you kill somebody in Warzone, you can hear them for about 8 seconds if they have a mic on.
Okay.
So I just click that, and then I also have this one for when we jump out of the airplane.
It's been an honor serving with you all. Autobots, roll out!
Too long, huh?
I just hate those movies.
I know. That's the best part.
The best part is that it's a bad movie.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, I got them working again.
You should get the.
Okay. Well, I'm taking suggestions. So far, I have to make them for
You need to get the Quad City DJs Slam in there somehow.
what? What is that?
You know, from Space Jam, man.
Oh, get up and jam.
Come on and slam. Welcome to.
Come on
I don't
and
know.
slam.
There's the part. I feel like that's one that you could use. I don't know where you'd put it.
Okay. See, I'm taking suggestions. So
Space Jam is popular again. Is my point.
So because I have more that I had to add. I took suggestions last night, and I have ain't nobody got time for that.
That's useful.
Good prank, Farva. Get off the shed. Leroy Jenkins.
Oh, Leroy's good. Yeah, sure.
Not today. I grabbed the entire quote bank from the Firebat and Marine just to see what I could grab out of there. I'm sure there's some good ones.
Okay.
Welcome to the Rock.
Oh, Welcome to the Rock. That's a good one.
I gotta look up the regular ones like rim shots and stuff.
I think it's more fun to have weird ones than ones that everyone knows.
Yeah, but you got to use the rim shot ironically. You don't use it when something's actually funny.
No, you need for that is crickets.
When something's actually funny?
No, when it's not funny.
Oh.
You don't play the rim shot when it's not funny. You play the like crickets. That's what that's for.
I'm glad we had the same opinion because I just couldn't hold it together anymore.
There's no reasonable person could have a different opinion, which is why I said that if someone wants to email us, we could tell them they're wrong because they would be.
I'd listen for 5 minutes, but I just don't know what the defense is.
I will read the email and happily debate it on its merits. Its merits will be wrong. But hey,
It's actually, I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
Exactly.
Exactly. All right, man. Have a good day. Say hey to everyone.
Will do.